The script, written in first person, to the point, and within the 500-word requirement. It avoids repetition, builds tension gradually, and sets up the emotional foundation of the infidelity story. I used to think I had everything a man could want: a stable job, a comfortable home, and a wife who once looked at me like I was her whole world. Julia and I had been married for 6 years. We weren't perfect, but we had something that felt real. We laughed often, supported each other's careers, and made time for regular date nights. People called us the ideal couple. I believed them. I believed her. Things started to shift slowly. At first, it was small. She began guarding her phone like it held state secrets. Her screen always facing down. She'd smile at messages I never saw and claimed they were from her girls' group chat. That was her go-to line. I didn't push. Trust, right? That's what marriage is built on. Then came the late nights. Work meetings. Deadlines. The client needed last-minute changes. I trusted her. I told myself I'd be petty to question her. But something didn't sit right. One night, she came home past midnight. No explanation. No apology. Just slipped into bed like it was normal. I lay there staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. The next morning, she was cheerful. Too cheerful. I asked her if she was okay. She kissed me, said I worry too much, and left early. I sat at the table, alone, coffee cold, heart colder. That day, something shifted in me. I started paying attention. She wore perfume she hadn't touched in years. She changed her hair, her outfits, her whole energy. When I complimented her, she brushed it off. When I tried to connect, she was distracted. Emotionally unavailable. Physically present, but elsewhere. My friends noticed too. One evening, out with an old friend, he hesitated before saying, "Hey, man, is everything good with you too?" I asked what he meant. He just shrugged and said, "She seemed different at that party last month." "I don't know. Be careful." I laughed it off, but my chest felt tight. It all came crashing in one random moment. She left her phone on the kitchen counter while she showered. A message popped up. "Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again." My blood ran cold. The contact name was just initials. I stared at it until the screen went dark. My hands trembled. She came out of the shower and smiled. I smiled back. I said nothing, but something inside me broke. I wasn't even angry, just hollow. That was the moment I knew I needed the truth. Real truth. Not guesses. Not suspicions. Cold, undeniable proof. So I made a decision. I wouldn't confront her. I wouldn't ask questions. I would find out everything quietly. No drama. No fights. Just facts. After all, if she was hiding something, I'd give her nowhere left to hide. Let me know. Of course. Here's section 2 of the script, written with the same concise, emotionally grounded, and impactful style. This part maintains the 500-word count requirement and avoids any repetition or unnecessary filler. I bought a cheap second phone, one with a decent camera, and hid it in our bedroom. Positioned it to cover just enough. I told her I was working late for a few nights. She didn't even question it. That hurt more than anything. She used to worry when I was 5 minutes late. Now, she barely noticed I was gone. The first night, nothing happened. She stayed in, ordered food, and watched some show on her laptop. But the second night, things changed. I watched the footage the next morning, alone in my car before work. A man entered through the back door. Casual, comfortable. They hugged like it was routine. She kissed him before he even took his shoes off. I paused the video. Stared at the screen. My breath caught in my throat. My wife, the woman I built a life with, was cheating. And not just physically, it was emotional. The way she looked at him, laughed with him, leaned into him. She'd never look at me that way again. I kept watching. It wasn't just once. It was multiple nights. Same man, same routine. She made him coffee in my favorite mug. Wore my t-shirt to bed with him. Like I never existed. I didn't cry. I couldn't. My whole body felt numb. I needed to know who he was. I took a screenshot from the footage and ran it through a reverse image search, then checked social media. It didn't take long. His name was Alex, a co-worker of hers.
Married.
2 kids. I found photos of them at a work retreat, standing a little too close. I started digging into both of them. Text message backups, shared cloud access, her email on a synced laptop she forgot I'd set up. I found everything.
Dates.
Hotel bookings, a private bank account she'd opened, and a message thread where they discussed moving to another city, just the 2 of them. She even mentioned withdrawing money from our joint savings quietly. That part made it real. She wasn't just cheating. She was planning to erase me completely. I didn't lose control. I printed everything. Every text, every booking, every screenshot. I started making copies, storing backups on different drives. If I was going to end this, it would be clean. No shouting matches. No second chances. Just undeniable truth. The final blow came when I found a message where she called me safe and predictable. Said she was tired of pretending. That she was done playing the wife. That was the moment something inside me hardened. She was no longer my partner. She was my problem to solve. I made one last call to an old friend in the legal field. Asked him how airtight a case needed to be for a private matter. He asked what I was dealing with. I told him it was personal, but serious. He just said, be smart, be quiet, and finish it right. That's exactly what I plan to do. True to your instructions, concise, direct, without repetition or fluff, and at the required 500-word length. I invited Julia to dinner. Just the 2 of us. Told her I wanted to reconnect. She seemed surprised but agreed. That night, I acted like everything was fine. I smiled. I listened. I let her talk about how stressful work had been. She didn't even flinch while lying to my face. That confirmed it. She felt untouchable. The next morning, I sent an anonymous tip to the police. I attached financial records, screenshots of her messages with Alex, and flagged a specific conversation about him funneling company funds through a fake vendor account. That detail changed everything. Julia had mentioned it casually in their chat, laughing about how clever he was. I doubted she knew how serious it was. I arranged a meeting with a lawyer and filed for divorce. Grounds: adultery and financial deception. Every document was backed up. Every asset traceable. I froze our joint accounts, notified the bank, and secured my own funds separately. She wouldn't get a single cent she hadn't earned. The next part wasn't planned, it was karma. 2 days after the tip, the police showed up. Not for her cheating. Not for our broken marriage. For fraud. Embezzlement. They had been watching Alex for a while. My evidence accelerated the case. He was taken in from his office. Julia was picked up shortly after, questioned as a potential accomplice. She had no idea what hit her. She called me that night. I didn't answer. She left voicemails, first angry, then desperate, then crying. I listened to them once, then deleted every one. There was nothing left to say. The news spread quickly. Our friends, her family, her coworkers, all of them learned the truth. The perfect couple was finished. And she wasn't the victim she tried to play. People started avoiding her. Some reached out to me, apologizing for not seeing it. I didn't respond to most. I wasn't interested in sympathy. My lawyer called to confirm the arrest and inform me the divorce would be simple. No contest. No fight. Just final signatures, and done. Everything she thought she could manipulate fell apart. All her planning, her secrecy, her escape plan. It collapsed the moment the truth came out. I didn't feel joy. Just relief. Quiet, steady relief that I never lost control. That I didn't scream, didn't beg, didn't stoop to her level. I exposed her with facts. I let her destroy herself with her own choices. Alex was indicted within a week. Multiple charges. Julia's involvement was still under investigation, but the damage was already done. Her reputation, her job, her fake future, it was all gone. She tried reaching me again. Through her sister. Through mutual friends. I stayed silent. There was no apology that could fix what she did. No explanation that would make it better. She gambled with something real and lost everything. All that was left now was my exit. Completing the story in the same direct, emotionally resonant style, exactly as you've requested, with no repetition and staying to the point. After the divorce papers were signed, I packed what little I cared to keep. The rest I sold, donated, or left behind. I wasn't interested in reminders. The house, once ours, was now a hollow space filled with lies. I handed the keys to my lawyer and walked away without looking back. I changed my number, deleted every social media account, informed no one, not friends, not family. There were no goodbyes, just silence. I booked a one-way flight under a different name and paid in cash. No forwarding address, no traceable history. I disappeared because I wanted peace, not revenge. I had already won. Staying would only keep old wounds bleeding. Julia was left with the consequences. Fired. Investigated. Shunned. Even if she avoided charges, the damage was permanent. Her face was no longer welcome where it once brought smiles. People stopped taking her calls. Even her own family distanced themselves. It didn't make me happy. It just confirmed that truth has weight. Eventually it lands. From what I later heard through legal channels, Alex took a plea deal. Fraud, identity manipulation, company theft. He named others to reduce time, but Julia wasn't spared. She wasn't charged, but the suspicion stuck. And that was enough to destroy whatever reputation she had left. She tried to find me, sent emails to old addresses, letters to my parents' house, left voicemails with people I used to know. I ignored all of it. Not out of spite, out of clarity. There was nothing left to say. I didn't need her to understand what she'd done. I already understood who she really was. Now, I live where no one knows my name. I work quietly under the radar, doing something that doesn't tie me to my past. I rent a small place by the coast. I read. I walk. I breathe freely. No tension, no games, no masks. Just air, space, and silence. Sometimes I think about the life I had. Not with regret, but with awareness. I gave my best to someone who treated it like an inconvenience. That's not on me. That's on her. What I regret isn't loving her, it's trusting her more than I trusted myself. I've learned to let go, not just of people, but of needing closure. Sometimes you don't get a final word. You just leave. You disappear. Not out of fear, but out of strength. Because not everyone deserves access to you after they've shown you who they are. If she ever wonders where I am, I hope that silence answers her louder than any words ever could. And if she's still searching, I hope she realizes some people don't leave to hide. They leave to heal. Quietly. Permanently. Without a trace. Let me know if you'd like a voiceover-ready version, or if you'd like to turn this into a YouTube script with timing and text effects.